I'm going to begin my questioning kind of where Senator Mullen left off, and that's on the flexibility issue. This is for you, Ms. Shard. I'll call you Shelley. Shelley. You know, I talked in my opening statement about EPA's role to ensure state implementation complies with law and regulatory requirements. We realize that you all know your communities better and individualized communities, especially in the very rural systems, better than anybody else. So can you discuss how the EPA is utilizing a one-size-fits-all approach to environmental justice to prioritize certain projects over another, even if they may not quite align with the specific needs and priorities that you see in your state?
Thank you, Senator. This is an area we see squeaky wheel kind of approach. We hear a lot about a particular contaminant, and then suddenly across the country, everyone must treat for this contaminant or must take action. Some areas in Oklahoma where we've seen, we hear a lot about PFAS and those kinds of contaminants, and while those are critically important to address, we see a lot of iron and manganese that we would like to address, and that's the pressing need for some of our communities, but that's not the same priority.
So what happens to those? Do those fall further down the list, or they don't qualify for the federal funding? How does that impact those systems?
It could be either of those two options. In many cases, it may be something that is simply, well, that's not high enough priority, so you have to spend a set amount of money addressing something else. In some cases, we have to move to some of our state funding options, which do not have the federal backing, but we are able to utilize our flexibility where we would like to be able to partner with our federal funds in order to assist these communities in addressing those areas that are most important. Even in a state like Oklahoma, where we have the eastern side of the state has very different water quality than the western side of the state. Groundwater versus surface water, different aquifers, hydrogeology is very different. We feel like we can better identify what will help our communities most, as opposed to just one size fits all.
Well, thank you. That very comprehensive answer. Does this, I don't have tribal communities in my state, but does this have an outsized effect on the tribal communities in terms of being able to meet their particular needs if it doesn't fit into the particular niche of the EPA?
You know, for all small, rural, underserved, disadvantaged communities face these same issues, and it's very important that no matter whether they are a tribe or a rural water district or a municipality, they struggle with a one-size-fits-all approach. And we try very hard to work with them to help identify processes that can assist them in meeting their specific infrastructure needs.
Okay. Ms. Morales-Pate, in terms of the capacity issue, this is I've been on a bill for many, many years with Senator Booker to try to get more professional, more young people interested in the profession of water management. I mean, I guess it either sounds boring or it wouldn't be enough to raise a family on when, as Senator Mullen was talking about, the test is not a layup, and it's a lifetime of employment and very good career patterns. So how are you through your organization trying to help with that issue?
We provide technical assistance and training. Training is a big component of the work that we do out in the field. And to your point about keeping that capacity in the communities, one of the challenges that we have, in my opinion, there are two pieces to this situation. One is the training piece, but the other part is the retention. We can train all day long, but if the communities do not have the ability to offer competitive salaries and competitive benefits, the retention part becomes a problem. So what happens with our communities is they end up becoming the training ground for larger utilities.
Right.
And so it's a real challenge.
Yeah, law enforcement has the same issue.
Yes.
Mr. Byram, I love this quote you gave us. Access denial by process, meaning the gobbledygook of getting all of this put together and applications, Ms. Chard talked about it a little bit. What's the solution there? Is it a simplification? Is it to quit loading up guidance? They give you guidance all the time. It's not really a regulation. It's a guidance from the federal. Is it give the state all of the authorities? Where's a solution here to simplify this process, to get it where it really needs to go, the money where it needs to go?
You know, we were talking about flexibility, and it's kind of one of those things where if you give the states all the authority, well, then they still need some flexibility in there somewhere, I think. You know, one state might be harder than the other or whatever. I really believe, you know, in the case of Rialtos and Concepcion, the Duval County people I was talking about earlier that got up this morning and drank water that was in excess of arsenic, you know, that would be different than someone maybe in eastern part of Texas where they've got a city of 3,000 and you know, they may not have the same issues. There may be a different issue there. So I think that there is room for some latitude there with the states, giving the minimum requirements of the federal. So I think that what we need to do is go back and find out just what the states are requiring over and above those federal guidelines. I believe there's some differences there that if we were to relax those back down to the federal guidelines, I think in a lot of these cases we might be okay.
That's interesting. Do you or any of your systems test for PFAS right now?
We just entered a contract with someone to test for PFAS down around the Gulf Coast. So, yeah, we're just starting that.
Do you have any experience with that, Ms. Chard?
Yes, we do have some of our systems. Our drinking water systems are, of course, participating in the Unregulated Contaminant Monitoring Rule 5, where they are monitoring for a variety of PFAS. And then we have some of our larger systems that are monitoring not only drinking water, but wastewater at their wastewater treatment facility, their biosolids. They're monitoring inside their collection systems to detect where they may be receiving PFAS.
Yeah. And what about you?
Yes, we do a lot of training across the country, and so part of the training that we do is to train operators to test, to do their own sampling. So we've been doing that. Some of the regions have state-specific. One of the challenges, I guess, is that every state is handling it differently. And so some of the states are doing the sampling and all of their inventories. And so they're at different levels. We're in all 50 states and the territories, and everybody is like in different levels, but we're definitely involved in that and educating the communities, the operators, the decision makers, and all about the implications and potential solutions.
Okay, thank you.